Welcome to the Philippines. Today you will have an overview of Panglao Island. Let's see where it is located. It is practically the center of the archipelago, and Panglao's proximity to Bohol Island plays a key role in the development of tourism here. They are connected by 2 bridges, and when we lived on Panglao, we would drive to the supermarket on Bohol. The capital of Bohol, Tagbilaran, is right across the bridge. It is a small Asian town with hospitals and few shopping centers. There is a port here, but no beautiful beaches. Therefore, both expats and tourists prefer to stay on Panglao, closer to the white sand and a wide selection of cafes and hotels. People go to Bohol just for excursions to admire the symbols of the Philippines, the chocolate hills, and the tarsiers. But more on that in the next episode. Today, I want to show you what to do on Panglao. By the way, one of the advantages of Panglao is logistics. First of all, there is its own international airport. Note that the airport from Bohol and Tagbilaran was moved directly to Panglao while keeping the old name. Now, it takes only a few minutes by tricycle or bus from the airport to the center of tourist life in Alona. You can even walk if you really need to save money and have energy left after the flight. Also, right after the bridge is the Tagbilaran seaport, so it's easy to get here by ferry from other islands, Cebu, Siquijor, Negros, and some others. Alright, let's head to the famous Alona. This name refers not only to the beach, Alona Beach, but also to the main tourist area where life is bustling. The main landmark and meeting point here is McDonald's. The main road is full of cafes. By the way, a top 30 restaurants in Panglao episode is coming soon. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And now we're going for a walk through Alona area in the evening. From McDonald's, there's a short path down to the beach. Everywhere you look, there are shops, massage parlors, souvenir shops, and cafes mixed together. In this competition, everyone tries to attract tourists as best they can, some with flyers, others with dances. Let's take a look at a couple of souvenir shops. I love these sharks that look more like seals. Do you agree they're super cute? Here they sell papaya products, calamansi syrup. It's a small local citrus fruit. And how can you go without coconut oil? Overall, nothing extraordinary. Here's another shop right at the entrance to the beach with dream catchers and stone figurines. They will assure you that it's handmade. Don't believe them. It's just regular concrete from molds, the same as they sell in Boracay. We move on. Here you have hookahs and fruits everywhere, music, a great mood, a relaxed atmosphere, many cafes on the shore. No frills, just plastic furniture or bean bags. The main thing is the sound of waves. Someone is having fun with henna tattoos, others are chilling with a massage, and the bravest ones, seeing a fisherman with a catch of sea urchins, decide to try something exotic. Caviar is eaten raw. They scrape it into a cup, pour vinegar over it, and it's ready. Give it a try. My husband Eugene, for example, really loves them. But I always warn that it's better to make sure the hedgehogs are still moving their needles. That is, as fresh as possible. To sum up this story, on Alona, everyone will find entertainment to their taste. Want to sing or listen to live music yourself? Please do. Filipinos are famous for their musicality. Want to dance? Modest Bamboo Bar is at your service. I must admit, I personally like the atmosphere on Alona more at night with the lights than during the day. Even the seafood seems brighter and more colorful under such lighting. Hit the like button if you also wish you were here chilling on the shore with a glass of cold beer. Speaking of beer, look for the Irish pub on the map. Firstly, the food is delicious there, and secondly, there is a large stage nearby. Zumba takes place here until sunset. You can join and shake it up, and later you can catch a fire show. The guys really perform beautifully. Let's get back to the main road. I also want to show you a store of truly authentic and handmade products, mostly produced on the island of Mindanao. Here you will find traditional beadwork, natural fabrics, bags with shell mother of pearl, woven items, and metal jewelry. In general, girls, make sure to check it out. You can definitely find something interesting as a souvenir here. Let's shift to daytime now. We should also check out the beach. In front of you is a beautiful scene, blue water, white sand, but to be honest, it's not always like this here. It was just a combination of a good tide and bright sun. Nice beach, but not 5-star. Let's note the pros. It's not small and there's a decent depth quite early, plus various seaweed patches are quite close. You see that dark part? Of course, you can snorkel there to see sea urchins and starfish, but personally, I see that as a downside. I prefer a sandy bottom without surprises underfoot. My main complaints about the colony are that the beach feels somewhat uncomfortable. Firstly, there is very little space here, meaning the beach is small and crowded. And secondly, the strip of sand is extremely narrow. There's such a short distance from the cafe to the water, and it's all cluttered, whereas I want to lie under palm trees instead of someone's table. Due to the fact that during high tide the water comes very close, the shore literally gets washed away, exposing tree roots, and the reinforcement bags stick out like on a construction site. Agree, from this angle it does not look like a paradise place. Therefore, in my personal taste, this beach can receive a 3+ rating. We never swim here. We just come to walk, meet friends, enjoy the sunset, and of course eat. Are there more suitable places for beach holidays and snorkeling in Panglao? Of course there are. For luxurious white sand, head to Oceanica Hotel. Here you'll find the widest, best equipped, and most pristine section of the quite long Dumaluan beach. This hotel offers a day pass, allowing you to use the pool, sunbeds, showers, and more. But if you don't want to spend much, buy a cocktail at the bar, and if there are free sunbeds, you can also use them. This beach is open to the public and free of charge, but you cannot use the facilities unless you are a hotel guest. It's better to buy a drink, especially since they have a 2 cocktails for the price of 1 promotion almost all day long. As I already mentioned, this beach is huge. If you walk along it from Oceanica to the left, first there will be another 5-star hotel, Bohol Beach Club, and then the further you go, the simpler the hotels and cafes become, right up to very local style places with barbecues and karaoke, and a bunch of stray dogs to boot. Dumaluan has a major drawback compared to Alona. It is shallow here, and during low tides, swimming is almost impossible. So, dear tourists, remember, in general, most beaches in the Philippines are strongly affected by tides. I'll show you clearly now. We shot 3 times in the same location. Day 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the tide was only 1 meter. Consider it low tide because look how the rocks were exposed. The next day, we came back here at 11 o'clock in the morning to film what a 2-meter tide looks like. We ate at a cafe, took a walk, and then around 3 o'clock in the afternoon the water receded again by 1 meter, revealing the bare stones. You have to agree the difference is obvious. Tides change throughout the month depending on the phase of the moon. So if it is important for you to arrive at the best moment and get the most beautiful picture, download the app Tides and follow it. We usually choose the Cebu region if Bohol or Panglao is not available. Guys, we're creating valuable content for you. Please support the video with likes and comments. And in the next location, you don't have to worry about the tides. It's always deep here. I'm talking about the Napaling Reef. Notice that the word beach doesn't even appear here because there isn't one. There's a direct descent into the water where just 10 meters away the sheer wall of the reef begins. How to get here? Take a tricycle to the Calacasan Dive Resort. Pay for entry and snorkeling gear, and enjoy the corals and fish. Though calling them fish is an understatement, at Napaling there is a real school of sardines. You can swim in a huge cloud of shimmering creatures. It's an unforgettable sight and a feeling of awe. We definitely recommend it to everyone. The underwater world in the Philippines is absolutely incredible. This is one of the reasons why it's worth coming here. After all, the country is located in the Coral Triangle. This region is considered the center of global marine biodiversity. Also, in the Philippines, the prices for diving and freediving are very reasonable. So here are 2 more ideas for what to do in Panglao. Learn to dive into this wonderful world. Fortunately, there is a huge selection of diving schools here offering instruction in many languages, and training beginners takes only 1 to 2 days. We started talking about the underwater world, which means it's time to tell you about one of the most popular tours in Panglao. It's a trip to one of the tiny islands nearby, Balicasag or Pamilacan, where tourists are promised coral gardens and encounters with turtles. Here's an honest review of the boat tour to Balicasag from the Expectation versus Reality series. First detail, waking up early. If you want a chance to encounter dolphins on the way to the island, you should set sail at 5 or 6 in the morning. The second thing to note is to definitely bring coral shoes to protect your feet, and ideally earplugs or headphones. You can't imagine how deafening the engines roar. The trip there takes an hour and an hour back. You return just deafened. Well, it'll pass by evening. But when we met the dolphins, of course, at first we were insanely happy until we realized that at least 15 boats were chasing the pod, all with roaring motors. The boatmen were deliberately banging on the sides, no one maintained distance, and everyone wanted to bring their tourists closer to the dolphins. Can you imagine the stress and impact on the sensitive echolocation system of the dolphins? Nuance number 3. We knew that Balicasag would be very crowded with boats, so we chose to go privately instead of with a tour group, hoping they would take us to the other side of the island, away from the main mass of tourists. But alas, they brought us right into the thick of it. Our Filipino boatmen pretended that it was all part of the plan. Well, at least we will show you how everything is organized here. Large boats cannot sail close to corals and turtles to avoid harming them. So you get dropped into the water and have to climb into small canoes, which honestly is not easy even for the young, and some even capsized. If there are 15 to 20 tourists in each big boat and they are divided into pairs in canoes, then calculate for yourself how many of these small vessels there are in total. This whole flotilla is rowing to where they spotted a turtle. Guys, honestly, it's a complete mess. There are loads of people, everyone is pushing, shoving, flapping their fins. Yes, we did see a couple of turtles, but the experience was highly questionable. The fourth nuance is that time in the water is strictly limited. You will be quickly taken to the shore, where you can please take a walk, buy souvenirs, eat at a cafe at your own expense, or simply swim near the shore. And what annoys me the most is that you spend more time on land than in the water. I think you can eat at home, and you would want to travel such a long way not just for a 30-minute snorkeling session. By the way, we also got an unsettled sea with waves, so the water was cloudy. Few turtles, and mainly in this area where we were brought, there were mostly stones and algae that turtles feed on. We were expecting corals, so personally I didn't get much visual pleasure from snorkeling. But let's ask the other participants. So what do you think?
We have been here twice, approximately twice the same.
Didn't like it twice?
Yeah, not really thrilled overall.
What are your impressions from the trip?
Oh, I'm thrilled, but it's not enough for me.
Is it true that you are excited?
Yes, fish ate me.
We liked it, but Napaling is more beautiful as a reef, and at Bohol there are many more turtles and nobody is there.
There are quite a few fish here in terms of quantity, but the species don't differ that much.
Did you get bitten too?
Yes, it bit my finger.
Amazing! You and Sveta are partners now.
Injured. You know.
So the short conclusion is, we were lucky to see dolphins, we were lucky to see 2 turtles, but in fact, the corals, fish, and everything else on Coron Island are 100 times better. Alright, let's not be sad. Let's go swimming while we have time. By the way, water shoes would be very useful here again because the beach is covered with sharp coral fragments and walking really hurts. But what a beauty around, don't you agree? On Balicasag, we spent about 1.5 hours on land, and at 10 o'clock in the morning, we set off for the next destination, Virgin Island. Oh my God, here we found a real paradise in my opinion. Virgin is a small sandbank, a white sand shoal in the middle of azure waters. It's so beautiful here, words can't describe it. The mood is great again. I just want to splash around and enjoy life. Now there's just a photo zone and boats here, but there used to be seafood traders. They stood with their grills knee-deep in water, then they were banned. On February 25th, the Virgin Island was closed after a huge scandal when footage surfaced of some stupid people carving names or other nonsense into a huge, beautiful coral with a knife. And as a result, the island's still closed. But periodically, there are reports in the news about the resumption of tours there. We returned to Panglao by 12 in the afternoon. The trip was mixed, and it's up to you to decide if it's worth going to Balicasag. By the way, Pamilacan is located a bit further and is said to usually have fewer people and more corals. So draw your conclusions. If you didn't get enough water activities on Balicasag, head to Hinagdanan Cave. It's probably the main attraction of Panglao itself. Don't be scared by the word cave. Everything is well organized here. There is a ticket booth, equipped steps with handrails, and lighting inside. Just a couple of steps down into the underground and you'll find a natural pool with crystal clear water right in front of you. It's very stuffy and humid inside here, so diving into the cool water is doubly pleasant. Overall, it's about 20 minutes of fun, but I think it's worth checking out. By the way, you can explore the island with the Panglao Land Tour. It's a half-day tour. Besides the cave, a lot of time is devoted to two churches. For Filipino believers, these are important places, but tourists often find them boring. The tour usually also includes the Shell Museum and Bohol Bee Farm. Let's show you everything, and then you can decide if it's something you want to do. Right now, we are in Poblacion. It's like the administrative center of the island. Besides the Church of St. Augustine, there's also a school, an immigration office, and so on. It's generally a very lively place. The area around the cathedral is a youth hotspot. They just hang out here on the benches, make TikToks, and do sports. There is also a court and a basketball court here. In the evenings, there are services. During the day, weddings take place. But the most significant event of the year related to the church is the festival in honor of St. Augustine. He is the patron saint of Panglao Island. I love these shows. The sound of drums, creative costumes. It's like being at the carnival in Rio de Janeiro. Different neighborhoods prepare their dance numbers, design their costumes, and each group has their own queen in a huge, extravagant dress. The procession of the column lasts several hours under the scorching sun. The dance is repeated at several points along the way to the temple, so that both the judges and all the spectators can appreciate the efforts of the participants and celebrate this holiday with them. Different islands have their own festivals throughout the year. Google it, and maybe during your vacation dates, you'll catch a carnival. Of course, no celebration goes without food. I don't know about you, but we're not afraid to try street food and probably tasted about 80% of what you see. There will definitely be a separate video on the channel about Filipino street food and national cuisine. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Now, let's move on to the next location. Literally within walking distance from the temple, there is a modest shell museum. Only 2 rooms, but what a variety of shapes and colors. I love seashells, so I was curious. I learned about dangerous creatures in shells that you definitely shouldn't touch, examined the smallest ones under a magnifying glass, and was amazed by the size of the world's largest mollusk shells, which of course are found in the Philippines. Did you know that the largest pearl in the world was also found in the Philippines? The museum may look modest overall, but it has a rich collection. So next up is a review of Bohol Bee Farm. I would call it an interactive shop. Here you can watch how various items are woven or knitted by hand, and then buy them. You can check out the open kitchens at the bakery or at the ice cream production site. They might even let you taste something for free. Their chain of restaurants and ice cream stalls is very popular in Panglao and Bohol. The food is tasty and the presentation is beautiful. Although, in Filipino tradition, everything is sweet, even the meat. The unique feature of this restaurant is that it is literally located on a tree and hangs over the water. Cool! Okay, we had lunch, bought some souvenirs, and we're heading to the Dauis area where the second big temple on the island, included in the Panglao tour program, is located. I like him more because of his tall tower, like something out of a fairy tale about Rapunzel. But inside, it's a classic Catholic cathedral with benches for parishioners and a painted ceiling. If I were to create an introductory tour program for the island, it would definitely include South Farm and Moadto. I'll talk about them in a minute, but while I remember, I want to specifically mention safety on Panglao. Don't be afraid to explore the island on your own. For example, around this temple in Dauis, we found so many interesting things while walking with a friend for an hour or two. We found Malay apples, even fed a silkworm, discovered an abandoned cemetery, and filmed cockfighting farms with bonfires. It's delightful. In my opinion, all of this tells you more about the country and its people than yet another temple. You will see that Panglao lives a peaceful village life, and the Filipinos themselves are friendly and welcoming. In terms of inner comfort and tranquility, I would compare the Philippines to Thailand. If you've already been to the Philippines, please write in the comments about your feelings on the topic of safety. It would be interesting. And now we move on to the last two locations in our review. At South Farm, for a small entrance fee, you will find a well-maintained area with a charming pond in the center. There are fish in it, and you can go fishing if you have the time and desire. Or you can just order lunch with the same fish and other seafood. It will be interesting here with children because there is a small playground with swings and a mini zoo with goats, rabbits, and other animals. It's great that many enclosures have special food so you can interact with the pets. I enjoyed feeding the parakeets the most. By the way, just in case, take some mosquito spray with you and snap a photo of the map at the entrance to find all the activities and tourist zones. For example, on their farm, they grow tomatoes and tropical fruits like dragon fruit. We were surprised to find dill. Now that's really exotic in the Philippines. Definitely make your way to the horse and the huge Carabao buffalo, the main helper in agriculture in the country. It's cozy and very quiet here. You can really take a break from the hustle and bustle. Seriously, Alona area can be so noisy and crowded, people are always trying to sell you something. And it's annoying that there are no sidewalks on the main tourist street. If you also feel uncomfortable on Alona, go to Moadto Strip Mall. Here they've built a slice of civilization with tiles under your feet, benches, and little fountains. Very few people come here, and it's a shame. At least check out these giant gates decorated with wood carvings. Moadto is essentially a small shopping complex with shops and little restaurants. Don't expect too much, but there are a couple of nice restaurants and interesting souvenir shops here. For example, this chocolate shop. Here you can taste high-quality chocolate with unusual flavors and buy the one you like. I think it's a good gift from the Philippines. They have a combined shop and cafe, so you can enjoy both coffee and hot chocolate here. The aroma is magical. In the next episode from Bohol, we'll go with you to a farm where they grow cocoa and teach you how to make chocolate. So hit the bell icon to make sure you don't miss it. Moadto settled on Doljo Beach. Let's take a walk and explore more about what is here. On the left is the 5-star hotel Modala Beach Resort. From this distance, the view is very attractive, but if you move further away, does this beach impress you? It doesn't impress me. Also, note the construction nearby. Let's move slightly in another direction and we'll see another beautiful 5-star hotel, Bellevue. By the way, there's also a day pass here. The hotels look cool on the outside, but I don't know how they survive. Because there are practically no tourists here, and I understand them, I wouldn't want to come to this beach either. It's so shallow and full of seaweed. For interest, by the way, I compared the cost of one day's stay using February 2026 as an example. Of course, these hotels are half the price of the Hudyaka and Bohol Beach Club. Understandably so. The view at Dumaluan Beach is definitely better. There was a 2.5 meter tide last night. Here is the 2.5 meter tide line. And here it is currently a 1 meter tide. The girl is kneeling there, meaning there is no depth at all. For those who love peace and quiet, this is a decent option. The hotel offers some activities, little boats, kayaks of course, diving, and you don't have to be a hotel guest to use their services. Sometimes a horse is brought to the beach. Honestly, it looks very sad and tired. It could use a juicy carrot and some water, but instead the horse just lies there in the heat waiting for tourists to take photos. So, I don't know about you, but we don't consider this beach a place for swimming, but we enjoy coming here in the evening to stroll, breathe, and watch the sunset. To finally wrap up the topic of Panglao beaches, I'll show you two more and tell you why they might be interesting. On the same side of the island, there is another large beach called Momo. Cool name, Momo Beach, easy to remember. A tourist might come here just to take a boat to Oslo to snorkel with whale sharks. Unfortunately, swimming with whale sharks in Bohol has been closed and it's unknown when it will reopen. And if you are an advanced traveler and want to see how Filipinos relax, come here on the weekend. Locals love noisy large gatherings, singing karaoke in gazebos, Tanduay flows like a river, and the particularly wealthy dine on lechon, a young pig on a spit. You will definitely be treated if you show interest. Swimming here is a questionable pleasure, although the local kids would definitely disagree with you. Overall, maybe in perfect calm and without seaweed, it might be quite nice here. But still, we are convinced that on this side of the island, the coolest place for water activities is Napaling Reef. All the beautiful beaches have to be found on the other side. We will head there for the final review. Bikini Beach, a beach for those who love semi-wild relaxation. On weekdays, you will definitely find solitude here, plus a couple of sad, skinny dogs. Another downside is not simple, the water entrance at Bikini Beach. The stones covered with moss are quite slippery. Be careful. But afterwards, there's clean water. These natural blue pools in the shallow water are amazing. However, the main advantage lies in the depths. Take a mask, fins, and explore the local reef. These wonderful shots were taken here, and our friends said you can often meet turtles here. Yes, indeed, without any tours. Test your luck. Our only safety advice is, when freedivers dive, they always put up a bright buoy. You can take a bright waterproof bag. It will make you visible to boaters and keep your valuables safe. Let's summarize. If you have only 2 to 3 days on Panglao and Bohol, we definitely recommend spending the first day on Bohol's attractions. Dedicate the second day to a morning boat trip and then chill at the Hudyaka Hotel. On the third day, snorkel with sardines at Napaling, visit a cave, and party on Alona in the evening. These are probably the most interesting places for a first visit. We hope our video was helpful to you. Give us a like, subscribe, and see you in the next episode.